Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Join Tom Mealy and Tommy Marr right here on Cablevision Channel 20 each week for an interesting episode of The Long Island View.
I am Tommy Marr,
otherwise known as the Maverick Soul,
and I am live in the Madhouse
for my show, Maverick Soul Hour.
Come and join us. It's the place to be.
Right here on Madhouse TV, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we will put you out to the entire world.
You got that right.
Hi, I'm Tom Mealy from Madhouse TV, and when I'm not at the studio, I'm here at the Harrison Law Group. This is my real job. Brett and I are putting together a show called Legal Straight Talk. It'll be aired on Cablevision as well as here at Madhouse TV. You need to tune in. This information that we're going to be giving the public is the real deal. It's all about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So tune in this January 2015 for a new episode of Legal Straight Talk.
Hi, I'm Donnie Most, and you're watching MadhouseTV.com. I still got it.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Welcome to the Filmmakers Show tonight. Interesting show tonight because we've got a wonderful person who is also in the Big Sky TV show that's coming, and it's in production right now. I have Michelle Parisi with me tonight, and without any further ado, Michelle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Well, she's doing great. She's married to me.
Very happy to have Sakani here with us on the show. It's always a pleasure and an honor.
It is always a pleasure and an honor. And Sakani, first of all, I want to thank you for coming a long way to be here again. And I'm so happy that you brought the different instruments so we can actually talk a little bit about your music tonight too, not just your acting background. But let's start right on in with that, right? What's your first question on his acting background? I know you were talking to him about it.
How did you get into acting?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you very much, Jerry and Michelle and all the Mad TV for getting me back here. I was here a few weeks ago with Violeta and Vicari and making the Big Sky show. Thank you again for having me here. Concerning to the question, the acting, yes, I've been acting not long ago. You know, I'm basically a musician. I didn't go to school for music. It's in my background, my family, from my ancestors, and I was found by a friend. Like, I was performing in one of the shows, and she came up to me and asked me if I would like to be in a commercial.
Oh,
so
nice.
I started with the Earth Day commercial for MasterChef. And then before that, I had documentaries in previews, so I had a little bit of
MasterChef, you just said? I know that.
MasterChef, yeah.
Yes, we know that.
Christina Ripa, do you know Christina?
Yeah, Christina Ripa.
Ah, look at that. What a small world it's turning out to be.
Yes, yes. So that before that, I did a couple of shorts with friends, and but this Big Sky is a bigger opportunity, and
sure.
And it's an amazing project that I.
Now with Big Sky, will you be incorporating your music background in your part,
I hope.
in your character?
Yes, I hope. I spoke a little bit to host Rick Valentine, and maybe some of my music is going to be incorporated to Big Sky because I'm a flute player, and I also make my own flutes out of bamboo. Which
that's very cool.
I'm excited.
I can't wait to see this.
Right,
yeah.
I'm excited that we're going to be hearing you play some of your instruments this
Yes.
time. I know last time it was a short amount.
Yes, yes. I've been a musician for almost 25 years.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Yeah, I started young, very young. Yeah,
So you're only 26 now.
yeah, more than that. More than that. I'm 42.
Well,
Yeah, not bad, right?
makes me feel old. That's fine. You know, no problem there. You know, oldest guy here tonight.
Not
You know.
bad, yeah. Not bad. Yes, yes, and yeah.
Now let me ask you a question. I remember from when my Penn Station days, going from Long Island to New York City.
Uh-huh.
I remember a band that was similar, and I could almost swear that it was you. Was that you
Oh.
playing in Penn Station?
Yes.
I knew it.
I used to play there, but for no long time. I played there like maybe 3 months.
That's
3
enough time to
months,
see you
and
every day.
Yeah. I made some friends there, and I actually have a band too. I perform with a band with other people.
Yeah, that's what it was. It
Yeah,
was wonderful.
we do gigs and shows and festivals. That band is called Toomey. You can find them on the website.
Toomey?
Toomey Arts. Yes.
Toomey Arts.
Toomey Arts.
Toomey?
Yes.
Art?
Yeah. TUMI.
Oh, TUMI. Well,
Yeah,
look-
arts.
look-
And we do performances. So maybe that's the group you saw in Penny State. We used to
Quite
play
possibly
there.
that could be it.
Yeah, I know for years, and I also perform with other musicians. My friend Akiva and Rampola, we do spiritual music.
Oh,
with the flutes,
nice.
And I perform with other musicians too. Yeah,
What's
with
the
different
thrust
work.
of your music when you create music? Because this is your own music.
Yeah, most 50% is my own music.
50%. That's a good percent.
Yeah, 50%.
So it's very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So what is your thrust behind when you create it? What's in your mind? Is it like something that hits you, or is it God driven, or tell me where
Yeah,
you get that inspiration from?
It's a very interesting question. It depends. It depends, like in the time you are, early in the morning, or you have events like when my father passed away, or when my children was born. Is situations like that. Or sometimes it's like I do meditation a lot. When I'm meditating or praying, which is sometimes the same word, I just look at the universe, and some melodies just come through my mind.
It sort of comes from within.
Yeah, it's like
That's beautiful.
some melodies come, and I try to get it, and sometimes I feel like I like a medium, like getting some notes or melodies, and I'm the transformer. Sometimes
Okay.
It comes to my some of the tunes is just like I like to go to the water or to the mountains and or the rain, things like that, like inspire, like very deep nature. That's my main source of inspiration.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. And so you come up, you get this inspiration. When you go out to any of these quiet places, let's call it that for the moment,
Yes.
to the mountains or the water, or do you take an instrument with you?
Yes.
Or you do.
Yes.
So you sit there, let's say in the rain.
Meditate, pray a little bit, and close my eyes and start. Sometimes comes to your mind and it goes. If a good melody comes, I keep repeating it. If it's a really good one, I have a computer in my house, so I
Sure.
record some of them. It's like sketches.
That's right, like sketching it.
Putting some drums and adding more instruments and more.
But the inspiration comes from
From
being
Basically.
at the beach or in the mountains
Yes.
and out in nature.
Yeah.
And I can understand that.
It's strong.
Well,
It's a
I-
big inspiration. It's very strong.
I've had the opportunity to listen to some of your
My
CDs.
albums, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very
it's
nice.
It's quite inspirational
Yeah,
and very moving.
yeah. I have 4 of them. 4 of them.
That's the one I have.
This is the one
Yes.
I gave it to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
it's very
actually,
nice.
it's all yours now.
Oh, there you go. You know, it's
Yeah.
nice because we can listen to these on the long trip.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, we're going to be going.
Just don't fall asleep.
No, well, you know what? I'll be driving, and she won't. But we'll be going on some trips,
Uh-huh.
and this will be nice because we can put them in there. I don't like listening to the radio, which is a strange thing because I make a lot of radio commercials for the clients. Did you hear the commercial? No. Did you Tom Ely's commercial? Hi, I'm Tom Ely. No, I don't listen to that one either. Although I just know they're on. So I'm one of these guys who really rather have the CD going, because when I'm talking, I don't want to be contradicted by a DJ somewhere. How dare you upstage me in my car? You know.
Yeah, that's what I do too sometimes. Yeah.
There you go.
Get a CD from other musicians and yeah.
Wow.
I listen to every kind of music. I'm open to every kind of music.
I'm not.
And you also perform at powwows as well?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, I do different shows. I've been invited. I also play in bars, restaurants, libraries, schools.
So you're quite diversified.
Yes.
I'd say.
You know,
That's
you're-
great.
And I was talking to a friend the other day, like, how can you get all this kind of... Well, I have like different repertory.
Right.
I'm not going to play in an American bar restaurant, like meditation music.
Right.
It's different. You have
Right.
some repertory.
You have to
Cultural
play. You have to play
music.
to the venue.
Yes.
Right. So you play Lady Gaga in bars, right?
Or in a winery, or it's going to be different.
Sure.
Or like yoga for the yoga people. I do
That'd
that.
be different, sure.
Yeah. So it depends. It depends. Yes,
You got some nice instruments here. Could
Yeah.
you give us a tour of your instruments?
Okay,
and maybe,
which one? I'll start with this.
Start with what you
With the small ones or the
start,
big ones?
whatever you want to start with.
All right. I wanna start with the big one. Right.
He's going to start with the big instrument, guys. So let's watch this. In the meantime, while you're getting those instruments, if I were to want to get some of these wonderful CDs, how would I find them? On the web?
Yes.
Or what?
Yeah. I have a page on Facebook. So a lot of people.
Oh, Facebook.
Yeah, a lot of people go look for me on Facebook, and I used to have it in Amazon,
Okay.
but some of my music got stolen, so I got it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so right now I'm only in private, like through Facebook,
Sure.
and I'm working on my website too.
Very nice.
Okay, so this big guy is called the Toyo.
Hey, sit down. Sit down.
Okay, I wanna be. Okay, this big instrument is called the Toyo. The Toyo is made out of bamboo. These
Now you
instruments are
made
bamboo.
these instruments,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
That's just so.
The nicer ones I don't make.
But this looks very nice,
Well,
and it's
yeah,
very
yeah,
colorful,
I was gonna
and
say,
I'm kidding.
You're quite a talent.
Yes,
So do you have to stand up to play that?
yes.
Oh, you do? Well, you know
Yeah.
what? The camera isn't going to be able to do that. See, just,
Okay,
we could just do some of the smaller ones,
Oh
maybe.
yeah, okay. I just want to
piss it
try a
on.
little bit the sound. Like,
Oh, all
because
right.
It's very deep.
Yeah,
I'm
Vicky's
gonna try-
opening it up for us. She's.
It's Huayra is a word, is a Peruvian word. Huayra means the god of the wind. When you play this big instrument, it's calling the Huayra. It's calling the god.
It's calling God.
It's calling God. The wind.
Wow.
And you don't even use the area code with that. That's great.
No. No area code. That's the thing. It's called Toyo. And I have videos on YouTube. If you search Sicani, S-I-C-A-N-I, Sicani, you're going to find a lot of more information about my instruments and my flutes.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Let's
Yeah,
see. Let's take another one of those
This-
instruments.
This is a small version.
Oh, a little one.
Small version of the Toyo.
Baby.
It's a very small version. It's called the Sampoña.
A Sampoña.
The Sampoña, yeah.
Sampoña. Very nice.
you.
Now, is that to call God too, or is that collect?
Yeah, it's a no, it's for the smaller gods.
The smaller gods.
Smaller gods.
That's right, you too could be a demigod.
No. Yeah, we come from it's like the same family of instruments, but it's the lower the smaller instrument.
Oh, wait.
The higher pitch.
I just heard my phone ringing. You did dial demigods. They can send me.
1-800-DEMIGOD?
There you go. There you go. There you
All right,
go.
what else do we have in this bag of tricks?
I have this one.
That's nice.
I make all this. This
That's
is
very nice.
This is the Kena. It's like the Indian recorder.
And now, who are we
It's-
calling with this? Anybody special or just the
Okay. Maybe your neighbors.
the neighbors?
Okay.
Let's hear it. He's got a great sense of humor. I love it.
Sometimes.
Generally not on TV
most
shows.
of the time, yeah. People, yeah. I used to scare people when I
Really?
I walk like this.
Ooh,
or
that's a scary look.
couple commercials I did. I appear like serious. And
Ooh.
people write to me, "Are you really serious?" I'm fun. I'm fun person. I'm human. I smile. You know, people
Right,
say,
right,
"You
right.
ever
Awesome.
smile?" I say, "Yes, I have a smile." You're right. I have a good sense of humor.
Yeah, you got a great sense of
Why
humor.
bother? You know, it's
That's
just,
true. What's pointless not to have a sense of humor.
when
Right,
you
can't
when you
take
wake
yourself
up in the
seriously.
morning, you know why be in a bad mood?
Right.
Just
Sure.
smile, pray, and go.
That's right.
It's life. Life's too short to be in a bad mood.
I always
Yeah,
say
I
that.
agree.
Yeah.
I
What do you
agree.
think? He's good.
He's all right.
Got a good sense of humor.
Oh, great. She'll
He's got a
keep me.
great. He's got a great sense of humor.
All
Seriously.
right. Okay. This is the Kena. I make all this.
Oh,
I
this is
don't make this
beautiful.
ones. Yes. Yes.
Go ahead, play
This-
that.
Okay.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
That was
Now,
beautiful.
Did you? Is that one that you made the music yourself, or is that somebody?
Yeah. Most of this is my music. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Most
It's
of it.
beautiful.
I have an album. One of the albums I started with. This was the first one.
First album.
This is all my compositions.
Mhm.
This is all my music. And then I did this one, the meditation CD. But when I used to go to performs and years ago on the streets
Yeah.
and in a lot of American restaurants, they asked me to, like, if I knew American songs. It would be nice to sound with the flute. So I made one of these albums here. Gets a lot of
So this has got like
international-
American.
With-
what's the easiest way to put this up without getting a light?
yeah,
glare?
with my flutes.
Very
And
nice.
and the last one is I created.
And that's this one.
Yeah, it has 50% of my compositions, and the rest are like different albums I record with different bands. So it's called
Nice.
it's called like the collection. Something.
Okay.
That's a Sacred Rhythms and Sounds, Best of Collection.
Yes.
Nice.
You can
So
find
you
it.
could get these on the Facebook.
yeah.
Sacani is SACANNI, right?
Yes.
Amazing, because I had to do it for the ads that I remember spelling
Okay.
it.
You don't remember my last name? It's hard.
How do you say your last name again?
Purisaka.
Poriseca.
Yes. Yeah.
Poriseca.
Yeah.
All right, good. So now let's get this straight. To review, first was the big instrument to the big gods.
Yeah.
The small instrument for the demigods like me. My phone rang. I didn't pick it up. Now, what do we got here? An instrument for who? Which god are these?
Oh well, it's listen. The original ones are made out of bones, and
Bones.
clay. Yeah, bones
Okay.
and clay. So my ancestors used to musicians. Suppose I die. Okay, musicians die. So if you want to keep the legacy, they make flutes out of my bones.
Oh,
So they can hear my sounds, they can hear my spirit through the flutes I make.
Oh wow.
what type of bones would they use?
The femur, the female.
Oh, the femur bone.
female
Okay,
bones and bigger, yeah.
Wow. So it
Bigger.
kept the.
that's
person-
very
kept the person
interesting.
alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So they cut you
interesting.
open,
Then-
take a bone, shape it, put holes in it.
Yeah.
I guess the holes are a certain spot. You got to know how to do that.
Yes, yes.
That's not something you just go
Yeah.
around. Put a hole there, let it
Yeah,
drill in there.
yeah.
No, it's got to be
They
something
gotta
that's
be-
precision.
Yes.
Because you're getting a sound.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
So I guess that's what makes
Yeah.
the music sound
Yeah.
so spiritual.
Yeah,
too.
very spirit.
That's a very interesting. Keeps the spirit going.
Because we're talking before, like 1,000 years ago, we didn't have phones, TV, internet, nothing.
Right.
It was pure, just the way it is. Nature, and even the communications were very, very bad.
Sure.
It was very original, very native.
Wow.
We didn't have technologies, and it was hard.
Where are you from?
I am from Peru.
Peru.
Yes, and I
Okay.
come from the Tayan Nation. The Tayan Nation is North Peru.
North Peru.
The most famous culture or civilization is the Incas. The Incas, everybody knows the Incas.
Mhm.
The Incas took over the whole country because
Yeah.
they were conquerors.
Right.
So one of my tribe was one of them, the
Okay.
tribes they conquered. So we ended up being part of the Inca Empire.
Now, the necklace that you're wearing.
Yeah.
What's the
This one.
significance of that? Yes.
Okay, you're not the only one. I'm not the first one who asks, "What is this?" All
Yeah.
right. This is called a tumi.
Tumi.
Tumi is a pre-Columbian god. It's a pre-Columbian god, like represents the healer
And
and
it's
my
the enemy of
ancestor.
man.
Yes, and my it's a knife. It's a
Okay.
knife. My ancestors used to make operations, and some of the sacrifices. He doesn't like that. Operations, and you're not gonna believe this, in the brain. In the
Oh my
heart,
gosh.
and-
They operate on
yes.
people's brain with that?
Yeah, well, they use very organic, would say. They used to burn this, like, to avoid infections and
Sure.
yeah, and they use
Oh,
a lot
that-
of coca leaves.
Sure.
Coca leaves.
That's right, the coca leaves, which
Yeah.
were originally used in Coca-Cola. That's
Yes,
right.
yes, the
That's
coca,
right.
Like, yes, to help. Yeah. Well, not everybody was success. Like, people died, but big percentage were success in the operation, the surgeries. Yes. They
Wow.
would say maybe 60% of success of each surgery, but still is a lot success. You know, concerning that it's very, very long time ago. Now technology, you know, zero technology. We're so lucky now. You know.
We're very lucky, but I still wish I was 20 and I could see where the future's going from here. That's what I would like. Nice.
Yes.
So that knife was used for many things.
Uh-huh. Ceremonial.
I was going to say
Yeah.
ceremonial.
Ceremonial.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. I didn't have
Yeah.
the word quick
Uh-huh.
enough. So ceremonial things, and at the same time, I guess it was blessed maybe, and that was why they thought they could work on operating if need be. Is that what the smart idea was back then?
Well,
or-
there's a tradition like my ancestors had.
Yeah.
Like the guinea pig.
Guinea
The
pig.
guinea pigs. They in some parts of Peru they use. Suppose you're sick or you're sick, all right. So the shaman or the medicine man.
Mhm.
Not everybody. Specific
Right.
people with certain power. Like this, shamans are not regular people. They were born with some gift.
Okay.
They come to you, they get the guinea pig, and, you know, like, it's all over your body, and like, I would say 1 hour, like, kind of massaging your body. So
They
then-
massage your body with the guinea pig?
with the guinea pig,
Did
Was
they
the
use
guinea pig alive?
alive.
Did they use
Then-
sage also in that?
No, they use other plants,
Mhm.
like local plants. They have like yerba buena, some plants like that. After like I would say a period like an hour, they sacrifice the guinea pig. They open it up.
Oh, they kill a guinea pig.
Yeah. Sometimes it dies. Sometimes the guinea pig just dies.
So
So they open
yeah, go
open
ahead.
the poor animal, and what has wrong is what you have. Suppose
so
it's the
takes
heart.
it takes the illness out of you
Yes.
and absorbs
So, in other words, if I had a heart ailment, you were just about to say, and the guinea pig would die because now it took the, let's call it the demons or the bad heart, or how would you describe that? And sort of like the guinea pig felt your pain?
That's the power of the shaman. Like the shaman has the power, like get the pain from you, and put it into
So
the
he
animal.
like channeled. He
Yes.
channeled it
So-
from you. To
But
the
you
guinea
still
pig.
have it. You're not healed. So the guinea pig shows what's wrong with you.
Okay.
It's like the X-ray.
It's like the
Okay.
x-ray.
Like-
All right, I get it. I get it.
Calling
All right.
calling
Okay.
like that.
Nice.
So then they know what's wrong with you,
Oh, wow. And then they fix it.
and they try to fix it.
They try to fix
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, yeah. So
Very
then-
interesting culture.
Then the shaman, like fixing it is not the shaman's job. they bring surgeons. Or
Oh, they bring
other
surgeons
people,
in.
Other people.
Let me
yeah.
ask you a question. Are there still people doing these kind of rituals?
By the law, it's prohibited right now. No, I wouldn't say in some very rural areas they might still doing it. Some.
Wow, it
yeah.
might still be okay.
But it's against the law right now
Now,
to make this kind of
on a
operations.
reservation.
Excuse me?
Doesn't a reservation have a different body of rules sometimes
Um,
than the law of the state? Doesn't
Well, Peru is different than here. We have departments, we don't have states. So it's just one federal. It's just one federal law.
Wow.
We don't have like state laws. It's just for everybody. It's just
Okay.
Very
general.
interesting. Very.
But the Shinnecock Reservation, are they protected by certain
Oh
laws
yes,
that-
here is different. In
Okay,
the United
that's
States,
what I
yeah,
was trying to
yeah,
say,
the
yes.
Shinnecock Reservation, they
Yes.
have, I think, their own.
Their own laws and things.
Yes, they maybe kind of private, and yeah, I'm actually glad that you were saying this. Like Shinnecock Reservation is having a powwow
Right.
in September, so
Right.
I'm gonna be performing there.
So in September, they can find you, County, on
Yeah.
the Shinnecock
Yeah.
Reservation
Also in Mohegan
Long Island.
powwow.
And Mohegan, too?
In Mohegan powwow, and Pequot powwow in Connecticut,
And the Pequot
and
Powwow.
yes,
When's the
in-
Mohican one?
This is in August 8th, but all the information is in my page.
So,
Ah.
Sicani is the Sicanni.
Yes,
Spell the
yes.
last name.
Purisaka.
Spell it.
Purizaca.
Sicani Purizak.
Yes.
Okay, go to his page on Facebook. You can either take a look at some of these very interesting things, and if you want, you can give him a call, and maybe he'll have some for sale. I don't know. I would also urge you guys to go to some of these things to watch some of the things he's doing. I'm Jerry Parisi. I want to thank you, and I want to thank you too, Sicani, for being
you.
on the show, Michelle.
It
Michelle,
was great to have
thank
you
you as
once
well.
again.
Thank
And if you're watching Channel 20, we'll see you next week. If you're right here live on Madhouse TV, stick around. Next show is in a few moments. I'm Jerry Parisi. Thanks for watching the Filmmaker Show.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Join Tom Mealy and Tommy Marr right here on Cablevision Channel 20 each week for an interesting episode of The Long Island View.
Hi, I'm Tom Mealy from Madhouse TV, and when I'm not at the studio, I'm here at the Harrison Law Group. This is my real job. And this January 2015, Brett and I are putting together a show called Legal Straight Talk. It'll be aired on Cablevision as well as here at Madhouse TV. You need to tune in. This information that we're going to be giving the public is the real deal. It's all about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So tune in this January 2015 for a new episode of Legal Straight Talk.
Hi, I'm Donnie Most, and you're watching MadhouseTV.com. I still got it.
Hi, I'm Jerry Parisi. Welcome to the Filmmaker Show this evening. I want to welcome a very special guest. I got a chance to work with him on Kim Cartolina's project. If you remember some of the videos on that, where Vesta and I both had lemons in our mouth because it wasn't so bitter. It doesn't always have to be bitter in the end. She was a divorce attorney who has now placed me and Vesta in all kinds of bus shelters, newspapers, and the sky's the limit with this. I want to welcome Michelle Parisi tonight. She's with us. And special guest, although he is very humble and says David Guarino's enough, Professor David Guarino. He is a Maine photographer. He's one of the best that I've run into in a very long time. He not only has an incredible studio, but he teaches over in the different colleges. Which is the college again?
Farmingdale.
Farmingdale College here on Long Island. And David, welcome to the Filmmakers Show.
Thank you very
much.
much.
It's good to see you.
Thank
Welcome
you both.
to the show.
Thank you both for inviting me. It's
And
wonderful to be here.
He speaks so highly of you. He is absolutely so impressed, and he's not impressed easily.
That's
and
great.
he just loves the work that you do.
Wait a minute, Michelle. He gave me a
So,
quarter to say that, didn't he?
50 cents. I drive a hard
There
bargain.
you know, those
There you go.
Jewish
There you-
ladies.
There you go.
Well, you know what? Go ahead.
So tell us exactly what it is that you do.
I'm an advertising photographer. It's a specific kind of photography. Everything we shoot is designed to persuade. So I do brochures, advertisements,
You do food.
food,
You do
architecture.
Yeah, I was gonna say architecture.
Whatever you want to sell or
Is-
whatever concept you want to get across, that's how I shoot.
Is it the kind of camera that you use, or is it the way that you take the shots that sets you aside from?
Yeah, it's actually the way that we take the shots. There
Okay.
was at one point, actually in my career, where I actually had 12 different cameras because they were doing a lot of different functions. But it's simply a planned persuasion. That's the best way I can word it. It's something where we don't just take a picture. As a matter of fact, I teach my students, we don't take the picture, we make the picture. What we do
So
is
you have more of a creative mind than someone who just goes over and says, "Oh, I like that," and take the picture.
Yeah,
There's a lot
absolutely.
that
Oh,
goes into
that's
it
all
from-
planned.
From
Yeah.
your
It's all planned.
from your eyes.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's like so when Jerry does the advertising
Mm-hmm.
and he's designing an advertising ad, and he has the eye to know where things go.
Exactly.
You have that kind of eye to know where how the picture's taken.
Well, we control every aspect of it. In other words, we create the illusion or the fantasy to give a specific perception to the viewer so that they buy the product or elect the politician or believe that concept. And that's the difference.
Interesting.
Well, you know what, David, when I first met you, I obviously didn't know everybody, but very happy I have. When Kim mentioned to you, she rattled off a tremendous resume. I said, wait a second, how come I don't know David? Well, that's because more I work with the city photographers, and then we've worked with some photographers that you and I both know together.
Sure.
But it's been a while since I've really done print work, and It was a welcome change to see somebody with such a well-equipped studio
Thanks.
and your knowledge. And I bring that up because really, you could have the greatest studio, the greatest camera, the greatest guitar, but if you don't know how to work that piece, that instrument, that piece of equipment, that's what separates the men from the boys.
Sure.
And you really captured well. I mean,
Thanks. Thank you so much.
You know, you saw it. We walked in there with a paper layout. In fact, it was like fast. It was the way I did the layouts when, oh my God, the client's waiting. What do you got? Here it is. And we used to do that at the agencies, you know, and come running down. But you knew exactly what we needed to do. Sure. And then once I present it to you, and I have to leave that to be in it, I can't direct it.
Right.
So
you took right over.
So as people are in different stages of film production, it would be important to have a person like you, because you would know how to get that product across, because often they're sending like a press kit or something to people who might be wanting to fund their shows. So
go ahead.
So that it would seem like you would be an integral part of that.
In most cases, I would work with the art director or the ad agency, because I would understand what they need to accomplish.
Sure.
And I think that's the difference, versus like a fine arts photographer who's photographing strictly for the art of it.
That's exactly right. You're a commercial photographer. I mean,
Well,
remember years
very
ago when we were
commercial.
kids, they called it commercial artist, commercial photographer. Everything was commercial.
Right. Now we say advertising because it sounds better.
It not only sounds better because the rest of the world doesn't understand what it all means. That's the problem. And a lot of people don't understand what goes into these things. And as you and I were talking in the back before, the most expensive photo I took in my life was at Ogilvy and Mather. It was for AT&T, and it was $20,000. And that was like blow-away money. Can you still get that today or what?
No. Those days are
Those days are gone, baby.
long gone. Very long gone.
You know, it's so funny. Film was back then.
Right.
And it has evolved to digital. And you taught me something new, that film is still what would be the best quality versus digital. Explain that.
Film has some inherent qualities that cannot be duplicated digitally, simply because it's a whole different technique. It's a whole different. It's a whole different medium. Film, or when digital first came out, really. People had a desire to move to it, the business, the industry, the advertising industry, because it was faster. And being faster was very, very important.
Oh, sure.
We eliminated a lot of steps. With film, you'd have to go from taking the picture to developing the picture, and you'd lose a day right there.
Right there.
Right there. Then you get the pictures back. 24 hours later, you got to go through them. Then you have to do what's called a film scan on a high-resolution scanner.
Oh, yeah.
You lose another day there.
Another day right there.
Okay?
Wow.
And then, finally, you have something that you can put into your layout and then begin creating your final layout. Now, with digital, it can go into the camera within seconds. As a matter of fact, I don't. It wasn't with your shoot that I did with Kim, but in certain instances, I'll shoot directly into the computer. We'll tether.
Oh, sure.
So that,
I've seen that done before,
yeah,
too.
so that if the art director is there, unfortunately, you were the art director, so you were on the other side of the camera, they could see immediately what's going on and make the decision: we have the shot or we don't have the shot.
Yes, but you know what? You were wonderful, because being in it, that I was and am, you obviously, right away, you just took the ball and ran with it. I said, this is what we need. And then right away, and watching the video that we had played for a while, you saw that, okay, there's almost so much space on the top. This is the way we have to go for it.
Sure.
You brought out the different chairs. And I then, you know, somebody like me, who's now got an alternate job to be the model in this case, was like, okay, I'm going to have to trust everything you're doing. And not just with my look inside of it, because I happen to be in it, but Vesta had to look good.
Sure.
Kim had to look good.
Sure.
And the overall everything had to work. And a cheater's way of doing that might have been to shoot Vesta alone 20 times, me, and then somehow manipulate everybody together in Photoshop, which is that's what's done.
A lot of times, sure.
The reality was you went right for that gusto, and I had such a deep respect for that because it's not
He
always
came
easy to
home
do.
saying, this is a talented guy.
Oh, thanks.
He's
Thank you
very,
so
very-
much. Thank you so much. Photoshop certainly has its place. I use it a lot.
Me too.
Yeah, sure.
Horrible. It's-
Everybody nowadays, well, you really need it, and it can do some wonderful, amazing things. But if you start with a better image,
Oh, we used to have a saying about that.
Yeah.
If you put junk in the crapper, I had to
Sure,
clean it
sure,
up a little
of
bit.
course, of
Junk is
course,
going to come out.
sure,
And that's
sure.
exactly what it was.
Right.
And yeah, the further you start is the better the push.
of course. of
Now,
course.
I want to ask you something about Photoshop. Photoshop, to really know Photoshop, it's not one of these programs you learn overnight.
No.
And the funny thing is, people, I work in Photoshop. And, oh, I just got it last week. It's great. Photoshop, you got to really know that.
I'll tell you a real funny story about
Let's
that.
hear it.
Because it was, I had this customer, a potential customer. They weren't a customer yet, and this was when the business was pretty much on its high point, and so I really was very busy, and the big thing then was that people could afford to buy Photoshop, and so we were negotiating the price with this customer, and she said to me, "We have Photoshop." And I just looked at her and I smiled and I said, "Yes, but you don't know how to use it."
Photoshop, to learn Photoshop, I've been doing Photoshop since what, the 90s? When did it come out, the 90s?
Actually, earlier than that, it was, I think, mid-'80s that it first came out. But I had a personal tutor for 3 years.
To really know Photoshop, you got to know
And
Photoshop.
3 years was when I was able to simply
Right.
get rid of the tutor. That wasn't when I knew Photoshop.
I went to schools
And you
too.
have all the background in this to
Yeah,
begin with.
sure.
Right.
And so you know that,
So-
yeah. Good.
I was going to say, speaking of background, how did this all start? How did you get into this business?
My dad was an avid amateur photographer. He loved it. He had a dark room. He built a dark room in our basement. We were in there every night, all night, until my mom yelled up to us, "Come on, you just got to go to sleep now." And that's kind of where
Oh,
it started, the photography part. And he just loved it so much. I picked up, I sensed that, and it just kind of stuck to me. And so that's where I think it pretty much started, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
And what kind of classes do you teach at Farmingdale?
At Farmingdale, I teach the photography courses, but I teach that specifically to the visual communication students. In other words, we have Intro to Photography, which is taught to the general education students, anybody. I had nurses, pilots, and they were phenomenal, by the way. They were really good students, but they weren't specializing in visual communications.
Right.
Now they have me teaching only the visual communication students because they want me to teach it as advertising photography, which is what I do.
What you do.
What I do
Right.
anyway, yeah. So that's how that kind of evolved.
I was going to say, we got some photos.
Okay.
And Vicki, if you wouldn't mind, you could tell us what it is. There's several different disciplines that you teach. What are we looking at right here? This.
Okay, this actually was a photograph that I took for class. In other words, one of the problems that I ran into when I started teaching was like, okay, well, what am I going to use as a textbook? And I really felt that I should have some live examples.
Right.
So this is just an example of when we're using composition and color.
Nice.
And that's really all that basically is. The second picture now, that actually is the cover of Luxury Magazine, which is
Oh yeah. That's
comes out of, it's a big real estate agent in Nassau County.
Nassau.
Yeah, he's going to kill me for, Elliott, Sean Elliott. And
Okay.
he has a huge real estate business, and there's a magazine called Luxury Magazine that resulted from that. And this was the cover for one of his magazines.
What do we have here?
The next one is for the Lombardi family. Everybody loves the Lombardi family.
Is that the one that owns the restaurants?
Yeah,
Oh.
the restaurant, the catering house.
That's it.
The, yeah.
Lombardi's on the Sound and all
Lombardi's
that?
on the Sound, Lombardi's on
Nice.
the Bay, Lombardi's over here,
Lombardi's here, Lombardi's
Lombardi's
there.
over
yeah,
there.
yeah. But they're great, wonderful people. They're a fabulous, fantastic family. And that was a picture for their, actually just to sell now, they sell their sauce So that was one of the.
It looked great.
success.
It was great.
Thank you. Thank
Now
you.
we had a beautiful girl. I couldn't pass that one up.
This is actually Miss Long Island, and
Really?
it's-
Okay.
yeah, it's funny because she actually surrendered her crown on Sunday. The competition, the latest pageant was just this Sunday.
Oh, so she's no longer Miss Long
She's
Island.
no longer Miss Long Island,
Oh.
but she's an absolute doll, and that was just actually we did for fun when she became the Miss Long Island. We did. I thought it would be a fun shot of her.
I loved her teeth. Loved her.
Yeah,
Loved the
she's well,
smile.
yes, yes.
And who do we have here?
This actually is a model that I work with for many, many years. Actually, I've known her now for like a decade, and this was shot by my class.
Nice. Yes,
Yeah.
I saw that. It was class shot.
It was done. I was teaching them how to shoot basically for fashion for the beauty industry, and they totally, completely did the whole thing. Every step of this is planned. In that
Nice.
shot, the hair, the pose, everything.
Everything. You can see
It was
that.
completely, yeah, and they did a beautiful job.
Okay, I needed to see this one because it looked
Okay.
really good.
Normally, I don't do many nudes. I do a few, and a nude normally is actually very much, when done properly,
Beautiful.
a persuasion. It's not the amount of light; it's the absence of light. It's basically when we're showing. It's what we don't show becomes much more important than what we show. It's the fantasy that's much more seductive, much more enticing than the reality could possibly ever be. Here I went the opposite way. We were just having fun. I did a nude as architecture.
It's very interesting shape the way she's filled it
Yeah,
out.
it's-
And I had nude life drawing classes that I taught when I was teaching
Mm-hmm.
one of the colleges. We'll come back to that in a minute because I want to just not deviate from the photos.
Sure.
But we got another photo coming up. That's very interesting. What is that?
That was actually done for a dance wear catalog, and that was one that gives a good vision of how every single aspect is posed. Not only posed, but controlled. Her hair is done exactly the way they want it done. The costume is fitted, I mean, specifically to that girl's body. We brought in those bamboo shades. We knew exactly what kind of mood we wanted to do. We used the red spotlight behind her. We're controlling everything to sell that costume. Period.
That was awesome. That's awesome. Now,
Thanks.
let me ask you a question. Do you work with models?
Sure.
So, for the aspiring models, do they get in touch with you, or do they have to go through a service, or tell me how you work
They
with
wouldn't get in
models?
touch with me. Normally, if when we're using models, normally the customer would provide the model. They'd go through. Long Island only really has one good modeling agency, and that's Hampton Models.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
yeah, but,
okay, good.
But
And I know who they are.
But now there are a lot of freelance models. Hampton Models is excellent. They provide a valuable service to the community, but a lot of customers no longer pay royalties to photographers.
Sure.
They no longer pay $20,000 for a shot, and so they no longer want to pay for models. So many of my customers get models from other sources.
Well, let me ask you a horrible question here. So nobody wants to pay for models anymore.
It's very true.
Like, why? That's a Long Island thing. It doesn't work in the city.
No,
the same way.
they would never get away with that in the city.
New York City has so many real rules.
Yeah.
And as a photographer,
It's
if
more
you
structured.
were, you would be more structured because I know from any of my agencies, when I would purchase photography, it was for that use only.
Right.
You don't go beyond that or you got to pay more royalties
Of
and
course.
more usage fee.
Sure.
And it had to be negotiated on a job.
Right.
So I couldn't have something taken like Kim Cardelina's ad, for example, which was started out with the 4-color spread, and then if she turned around and used it, well, we're going to use it here on the bus shelter,
Right.
and they're going to make it smaller and whatever. That's a whole different usage.
Absolutely.
That means you and the models that would get paid again.
Absolutely.
Now, why is it that Long Island thinks they have the right not to pay for talent?
I was wondering that myself.
I don't.
I'm like,
I don't.
How does that happen?
I don't think that it's a Long Island issue. I really think New York City has set a standard and is strong enough to maintain that standard and powerful enough to maintain that standard. I think outside of New York, so not only Long Island, but certainly even Queens and Brooklyn, and then you want to go into New Jersey and Connecticut, across the country, they're in many cases not willing to pay that fee. In many cases, people are not willing to pay for many fees. People go to Home Depot to do it yourself now, right? So I think it's just that mentality that we have. It's very unfortunate. And it's not only because it's models, but there are some legitimate reasons. With the dancers, and I do a lot of dancers.
Okay.
We don't, and I'm saying we because I agree with them, we don't want models. We want dancers so that they can jump. I've seen dancers leap into the air like gazelles, and shooting that is not only beautiful, but incredibly persuasive-wise, it's very persuasive. So we don't always want the model. They of course, are very talented, and they have a very definite need in our society, but on Long Island, mainly because of the digital era, now a lot of people who are startup models bypass the agency and go direct online. And there are plenty of modeling agencies that are really online sites. And they cannot command the type of dollars that a legitimate modeling agency can command.
Of course not. Of course not. That's like the Screen Actors Guild in New York City.
That's correct. You nail on the head.
Of course that's why the Screen Actors Guild exists, because they are making sure nobody's getting screwed out of their day and money and everything else.
There's no union for models.
There is no union
There
for
is
models.
no Screen Actors Guild for models.
So,
Right.
so someone could put an ad on a website on the internet looking for
A model.
models.
Oh, sure.
And they
Absolutely.
can hire the models
Sure.
privately.
You have
and
to
there's no protection for them.
You have to understand
No,
that when
there's
when the model comes from, like Hampton Models or any of the huge agencies in Manhattan, you're starting with a huge advantage. They know what they're doing. Now you have a partner on your team. Whenever you're compromising, you have to really work that model. And that means more work, more photography, more hand-holding.
Oh
and
God, yeah.
It's a lot more.
And that's what you
So,
pay
and-
for in a
and-
model.
Right, and it probably really affects your shoot. When
It affects my shoot, definitely, sure. I mean, I much rather work with a girl who's trained and skilled and very experienced and comfortable behind the camera. Many of these new girls are comfortable in front of the camera, but they don't have the experience. So it does make it more difficult to get the final product that we're looking for, sure.
Sure. I think it's sad. I think
Yeah,
it's
of
very
course,
sad
of
that,
course.
that there's a mindset that things can only be used and abuse people. And
Look at it this way. Years ago, I would say to a customer, did you want me to Federal Express this to your agency?
right.
Now it's, do you want me to drop it off at her house? Because now the ad agency is, generally speaking, a graphic designer working out of their home. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. In college, I'm teaching those kids so that they can be prepared to do that. But once again, it's eliminating that middleman or the agency itself.
You know what? When I obviously freelance art. I have my own agency as well. The true reality is when I was at Ogilvy or Footcone or any of the other agencies, Omnicom, even Publishers Clearinghouse, which was here on Long Island.
Sure.
The reality is you have a feeling of self-esteem when you're working for them.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not the same thing. I'm working out of my den today. All right, great. You don't have to go traveling. If you work really late, the worst thing you're going to crash into is your couch. Not have to sleep over or grab a cab to Penn Station. But the reality is there's no prestige with doing that. It's the real prestige coming from the pay you're getting, the knowledge that you are an expert in that area, and it's the same thing with the models. And if it happens to be video, because agencies do commercials, well then of course we also hire actresses and actors to do these things, and have to be right out there with it. It's amazing.
And it's a shame that the models don't have that kind of protection. There is no guild for models.
Quickly, David, if anybody wanted to work with you, what's a way of getting in touch with you?
Probably contacting me through my website. It's www.imagenationphotography.net. It's very important that it's .net because the gentleman who has .com is a terrible photographer. And but it's imaginationphotography.net, or you can contact me on Facebook, Image Nation Photography New York, if that's easier.
That's interesting. Well, once again, an hour has passed us. Those of you who watch both shows, we had Sakani originally, and if you're watching this on Channel 20, that was last week. But I want to thank you, David
Thank
Guarino,
you very much.
for having us
Thank you
here.
so much.
It's
It was
been
great
wonderful.
to have you on the show.
And I would be remiss if I didn't turn around and say thank you to Michelle, thank you Violetta,
Absolutely.
thank you Cheryl, but I also got to thank Tom Mealy, Tommy Marr, Janine Zarilli, and the ever-working, ever-powerful mainstream behind this studio tonight, Vicky Mealy. Thank you guys for everything. With that, I wish you a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Good night.